Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? This video is for you Batman lovers out there, or people that want to learn more about Batman. Ultimately, I hope that this gives you a deeper understanding and appreciation for the character, as well as some tools to help you debate other people that say other superheroes are better. I'm going to go over 3 major misconceptions about the Dark Knight in this video. Firstly, I'm going to go over the fact that he is not an emotionally stunted person, like many people think he is. Secondly, I'm going to go over the fact that he can go toe to toe with superpowered beings in a legitimate fight, while many people think that he can't. And third, I'm going to go over the misconception that his superpower is money. That's definitely not Batman's superpower. So let's begin. Let's go with the very first one. Whether or not Batman is an emotionally stunted man. To begin this, I'm going to give you guys a little input from psychologists. There are things that happen in our lives called impact moments that, well, have an impact. Some examples of these that many people can relate to would be the Two Towers or the shooting of JFK. People can tell you exactly where they were and exactly what they were doing at those moments. Impact moments are things that shape your life and are defining moments, and they're going to stick with you till the day that you die. I think it's safe to assume that if your parents got shot in front of you during a mugging, that's going to be an impact moment in your life. Of course it had an impact on him. Of course he remembers it. But that doesn't mean that he's hindered by it. It shaped him and it was formative, but it does not control him. He is not somebody who easily loves, and he's not somebody who loves himself. Batman has a great deal of self-loathing, as many of us do. But he does love people. He loves Alfred, and he loves the Robins, and he loves Batgirl. And he exudes tough love, which is very difficult for us to register as love because it's not what we think of. But in Batman's world, tough love is necessary because if they mess up, they're going to die. And Batman is incredibly cautious with his emotions. He doesn't love easily because he's lost so much. He lost his parents. Batgirl got shot and crippled by the Joker, and Jason Todd got murdered by the Joker as well. He's lost a great many people, and he doesn't want to keep losing them. He opens himself up to that vulnerability, but he still puts up walls because it's difficult for him to let go and to risk getting hurt like that again, just like it is for everybody else. And I think the greatest thing is that he does show them that he loves them sometimes. He does nurture them in his own way. There's a scene from the new game Arkham Knight that talks about how Batman is proud of Dick Grayson, or Nightwing. And Nightwing has a hard time believing it because he's not used to that from Batman. Because Batman is a tough love kind of parent. He still loves them. He just doesn't show it the same way that we're used to. And there are other ways that we see his emotional maturity. I think the greatest example of this is the fact that he can conquer Scarecrow's toxin. If he was an emotional wreck, as soon as he was shown his parents' death or something that scared him and caused those emotions, he would be down for the count. He wouldn't be able to conquer it and get over it, much less make Scarecrow wonder what the heck kind of animal he is to be able to handle all of the fear toxin that's pumped into him. Going back to Arkham Knight, in the end of the game, he conquers it to the point where it no longer has an effect on him. That's some emotional stability right there. We also see that he's not emotionless and that he isn't stunted through the hope that he has for the criminals that he fights. He has hope that they can be rehabilitated. And in part, this is because he wants hope for himself. As I mentioned before, he's full of self-loathing. He doesn't think of himself as a hero or as somebody who's as good as he is. He does what's right because he knows that it's right, but he still sees himself as a failure and someone who's suffering from the darkness. And I think that's admirable, that humility. And so he holds on to that hope for his villains. And in part, he's doing that so he can hold on to hope for himself. And going on from that, we also have the fact that he's turned all of these different things, all of this caution, all of this fear, all of this trepidation, and all of the hurt that he's seen into a beautiful thing called empathy. It's empathy that caused him to take in Dick Grayson and help him to hunt down his parents' murderers. It's empathy that caused him to take in Jason Todd and Tim Drake. And It's empathy that led to one of the greatest Batman scenes in history, which I'll show you now.
The psychic backlash could kill everyone in range of her powers. That's a distance measured in miles. Take her down before she takes everyone with her.
I'll do it, Shaira. I'm the only one of us Ace knows. She might let me get close enough to use it.
Do you understand what you're agreeing to? The only way to stop Ace for certain is to kill her.
Batman,
Ace,
did you like playing with my new Royal Flush gang?
can't say that I did.
Yeah, they aren't any fun at all. I gave them their powers and they still hardly ever play with me.
Can't imagine why.
When I was little, Cadmus used to make me play all kinds of games, but they weren't any fun either. They'd strap me into their machines and poke wires into my brain. Ace, can you move this object with your mind? Yeah, I can move it. They weren't really games, you know. They were training me, turning me into a weapon for justice, they said. They got their weapon. I got cheated out of my childhood.
I know what that's like.
You do, don't you? You don't have to answer. I read your mind. That's how I knew you weren't going to use Mrs. Waller's weapon on me.
No, I wasn't.
You were going to try and talk me into fixing what I've changed. Before I die.
Yes.
I'm dying very soon.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Could you stay with me? I'm scared.
He sat with her until her time came.
In that scene, he takes this weapon that they think he's going to use to kill this girl, but he never had any intention of doing that. He wanted to help this girl and show her that she was loved and cared for, that she wasn't alone, because he had been alone, and he didn't want that for anybody else. And I think that speaks volumes to his character and his testament and his emotional intelligence. I also think it's amazing to see him with his biological son, Damian Wayne. Again, he exudes tough love, but there are scenes and times where you see him genuinely showing love to his son. He's never going to be able to love like Dick Grayson does. He's never going to be able to show Damian the same love that Dick Grayson does. But that's because Batman gave Dick Grayson that love. The love that allowed him to nourish himself and his life and to be able to love others openly. Because he got to avenge his parents and he got the closure and he got all of the things that Batman could never get when he was younger. And Batman did that because of empathy. Batman did that because he loved him. And Batman has opened up to people and continues to open up to people. But he's very cautious about it, and I can't say that I blame him. Whenever anybody loses somebody, they become very cautious. Every single human. And that's all Batman is he's a human. But that doesn't mean that he can't go toe-to-toe with the big powerhouses of the DC universe. I actually want to start this section by pointing out that Batman and Superman have huge amounts of respect for one another. Batman sees Superman as the good Boy Scout and the beautiful light symbol of hope that he can never be, and Superman sees Batman for the upstanding, moral, righteous man that he is. I'm also going to give this section a caveat. And it's the same caveat that almost every Batman fan uses, but the caveat is allowing Batman prep time. But that's important because his intelligence is one of his superpowers, which we'll get to in the next section. But with proper prep time, Batman can take on anybody. Heck, he beat Superman himself twice in the comic books The Dark Knight Returns and The Dark Knight Strikes Again. Now, in those comic books, Batman says that Superman could absolutely obliterate him if he wanted to, but he knows that deep down, Superman is a good man, while deep down he is not, which I think most everybody would disagree with that last bit, but that's how he sees himself, because he knows he's willing to do whatever is necessary to do what is necessary. But it's incredible the fact that he can go toe-to-toe with Superman and win, even if Superman isn't trying to kill him. But then there are the enemies that they go up against who are trying to kill him. Take the DCAMU's newest Death of Superman movie. He's the last Justice League member standing up, fighting Doomsday until Superman gets there. He keeps him busy for longer than any of the other superheroes. And not only that, but also let's look at Darkseid. In the movie Batman vs. Superman Apocalypse and in the Batman Superman comic book series, Darkseid gives Batman his respect. And in the Justice League cartoon, Batman is the only one to ever dodge Darkseid's Omega Beams. That is an incredible feat in and of itself just to get Darkseid's respect. But he gets his respect because he beats him on multiple occasions, and not through strength and brawn, but by using his own superpowers, which Darkseid recognizes. Not only that, but through utilization of Batman's plans, Victor Savage in the movie Justice League Doom takes out the entire Justice League, and if not for Batman, they all would have died. But that's the level that Batman can go toe-to-toe with people if he has the preparation time. He took out the entire Justice League for all intents and purposes, and he's able to do this because he recognizes people's strengths and weaknesses, including his own. There's a scene in the Justice League cartoon where they've been captured by an alternate reality Batman, and he uses the Flash's unpredictability to outsmart that Batman. There's a wonderful quote from Batman, and it goes, "Everyone has limits. I just ignore mine." Batman knows himself. He knows his limits. He just chooses to ignore them, and he pushes past them. And he does that by utilizing his superpowers. But what are these powers that I've been alluding to this whole video? Well, it's certainly not being rich, and it's certainly not being a playboy with only one kid and $0 of child support. His superpowers aren't even being intelligent. That's one of them, but that's not his main one, or his main two for that matter. He's not the smartest man in the world. That honor goes to Lex Luthor. But Batman's two biggest superpowers are the same things that make people love John Wick. It's his will and his determination. It's the fact that he can go through anything and come out on top just by the skin of his teeth, by pulling up his bootstraps. Let's start off with the fact that he runs off no sleep. The man doesn't sleep at all. He naps, and not very long at that. And he's running a huge company while also fighting crime every night and being a dad. That's insane. And on top of that, you have the fact that he beats Scarecrow's toxin. Yeah, that's because he's not emotionally stunted, but there are plenty of emotionally stunted people that crumble at Scarecrow's toxin. But Batman fights through it. He's been injected with enough to drive multiple upon multiple men crazy, and he always comes out on top. That's unbelievable. There's another fantastic moment in the Batman universe. It's in the Under the Red Hood comic book, where Alfred is talking to himself in an inner monologue about Jason Todd, talking about how Jason never understood that it wasn't his strength or his wits or his technology that his enemies feared about Batman. That meant almost nothing to his strongest adversaries. What they all feared was his determination. Look at his first interaction with Bane. He gets beat, he gets clobbered, he gets his back broken, and Bane is basically just trying to break his will to live. And Batman takes the time he needs to recuperate, but as soon as he's able, he gets back up and goes back out and fights again. You see that in the Nightfall comic books, and you see that in the Dark Knight Rises movie. That's incredible. He doesn't let himself be defeated. And that says a lot about his character and about his will and determination. That's the same reason that he's able to go up against superpowered villains and superpowered heroes and get the absolute snot beat out of them, but still keep fighting until the very end and pull out on top. Because he's using that will and determination to push through the pain in the broken body. One of my favorite Batman moments is in the Court of Owls comic books. It is both one of the highest and the lowest moments for Batman fans. Batman has been kept inside of an underground maze, being given toxic water that's been laced with psychedelics and is messing with his mind for 8 days. No food. His body is broken as he just got the crap kicked out of him by the Talon, and his mind is breaking as these people are tormenting him day after day for 8 days. But he still has the wits about him to figure out where he is and how to get out. And not only that, as soon as he gets out, he beats the Talon again in a fight. But that's not even the most amazing part. The most amazing part is that he wants to give up. He wants to give in. He wants to quit. You see his inner monologue where he says he just wants to let them take him. He just wants to die. He wants the peace. But he doesn't let them. He gets up and he fights and he wins. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable willpower. That's unbelievable determination. He beats this guy that's dead and can't feel any pain and is just reanimated. He beats him in a hand-to-hand fight with a broken body and with a messed up mind. That he has the sanity to try to get into her and swim away. But there's another great story too, where he gets the Mobius chair that gives him all-knowing powers, and he gives it up with some help of the Green Lantern ring. Limitless power, and he gives it up. Incredible. But this doesn't explain why people like him. Why do people like Batman so much? And, well, it's quite simple. It's because he's human, and that makes him relatable. We can all relate to his loss and his putting up of walls. We can all relate to the struggles that he feels, the anger and the hope for his city and for the people that he has to deal with on a daily basis, hoping that they can get better. We've all known people that put up walls, that are abrasive on the outside, but are super kind and loving when you get to them on the inside. We love that he bleeds and that he breaks and that we see him get patched up by Alfred because we can relate to that mortality. And we love how he clings to his moral compass, that fortitude and will to stick to it no matter what, to do the right thing, even when the right thing seems impossible. We love and relate to the hope that he finds with his new family, and we admire him as the underdog who's always outmatched but always pulling through by the blend of his brains and his willpower. We admire a great many things about this guy, but ultimately, we admire the Batman. We admire his hope. The hope that he has for Gotham City to go back to being amazing, the hope in his villains to be rehabilitated back into society. We admire him as the underdog, always outmatched, but always pulling through a blend of his brains and his willpower. We admire a great many things, but ultimately, we admire Batman.